Hi everybody, it's Thursday afternoon on the 3rd of September. Welcome to the DSD Thunder Hangout. We've got a very important guest with us today. We tried to get her 2 weeks ago, but technology hadn't reached where she lived. But technology's been flown in, and we'll talk to Rosalie in a few minutes. Got some stuff to tell you before and after we talk to her. First of all, there's been some concern, or not concern, but some questions about what to do if an item is suddenly sold out and you've sold an item. In the back office, in the files section, there is a eBay defect statement, which basically goes along the lines of the item was had a pre-dispatch inspection, and as a result found it to be faulty. It's all a load of rubbish, but anyway, that's the statement to use. You can adjust it to what you like, and quite often if there's a similar item that I can get hold of, then I'll adjust that defect statement to also say that I can offer you this product, and then attach a photo with it as well. But it gets you out of a hole, because the statement goes on to say that you pride yourselves on providing quality goods, and you don't feel it's right to send out something that doesn't reach that quality control. So it stops, in my experience anyway, it stops getting negative feedback. Also, something that's just cropped up on DSD Thunder: if you need to cancel an item, contact the buyer and say to them, whatever the problem is, again if it's out of stock, that you assume that you would want the item cancelled. They will almost certainly say yes. You can then honestly in eBay go to the section that gives you the option for the customer to have cancelled. Then you get no defects whatsoever. I've learned the hard way, so that's why I know this. So just be aware of that. If you have any questions, by all means contact me or contact your sponsor. But the defect statement has got me out of a few situations in the past, and I'm sure it will in the future as well. So over to Rosalie. She had promised to be dressed as a unicorn today, and for all our overseas brothers and sisters that are members of DSD Thunder, apologies for Rosalie's accent. She comes from the would you say it's the north of England, Rosalie?
Yeah.
So if we need to translate anything that she says, I will hold up a piece of paper and do that. Says me, who comes from London, and nobody north of Watford could understand a word I said when I first, with my accent as it was years ago. But since I've moved all around the country, I don't think I've got an accent anymore, but that's up to others to judge. So, Rosalie, where are you from? Is it sunny Hull?
Hull.
Hull.
Yes. Yeah, I'm from Hull.
For those that live abroad, whereabouts in the UK is that?
Yorkshire, 10 miles from the sea.
So, how long have you been doing DSD then?
I started in November 2013, and then I had a break, and then I started again March 2014.
So you were in from virtually the beginning then?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're an old timer then.
Oh, thank you.
So just tell everybody your background, sort of where what you've done prior to DSD and what got you interested, etc.
Oh my God, too much to remember. I've been self-employed in a bricks and mortar business for over 40 years. I've done several businesses, from taxiing, pubs. Ended up, my last part of my career was a business advisor. I worked for the Princess Trust, voluntary, and helped a lot of people set up in business. So really, you know, I've done a lot of things. Too many to mention on it.
So what got you interested in DSD then?
Well, Jim, my husband, was very ill. He had cancer, and I was retired, or semi-retired, and I just had something. I had to have something to do. So I thought, right, I've been looking online for a while and decided that, yeah, I'll try DSD. And I tried it and I liked it. I'd never used eBay or Amazon before, not even to buy from. So it was a bit difficult because, as you say, it was the beginning and we didn't have all the tools that we've got now. So it was just suck it and see, you know, get on with it. But once I came back, there was more tools to use and it's just gone better and better from there. And I love it. So don't turn me off.
I won't turn you off. So what do you like about it? Because obviously there'll be some new people on DSD Thunder, maybe one week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks into it. Everything's a bit daunting at the moment. So what sort of words of encouragement can you give them?
Mainly not to panic. I think people panic when they're not selling anything. When they do sell something, they panic because they don't know how to order it and what to do. And so my advice always to my team is just give me a shout and I'll talk you through it. You know, so they're always trying to make a mistake the first time that they order. But the more you order, the easier it gets.
Yeah, I fully agree with you there. I think as you go through each stage for the first time, whether it's the first sale or the first return or the first complaint, it is quite daunting what to do. Yeah. Do you find that you get lots of, you probably don't need all the support now because of the amount of time you've been in, but do you find that there is plenty of support around for people?
Yeah, I do. I think we've got Dream Team 2 and Freedom Fighters, and we've got all the Facebook pages. There's lots of help and information there. Sometimes that is more confusing than if we had nothing, because people have different opinions and think things different ways. But I think it's great. And in the UK, we have the forum, the support forum, and that has been a godsend to me because no matter what I need to know, it's there somewhere. You just got to look for it and ask. Don't be frightened to ask questions.
Yeah, but again, I agree with you. I think that the people are afraid to ask questions because they think that their question is stupid. But the very fact you need to ask a question, it means it's not stupid. And the beauty, I mean, I can only talk from Freedom Fighters and DSD Thunder because I've made a decision not to join the others, and that is that whatever problem you seem to be encountering, that you can bet your bottom dollar that somebody on Freedom Fighters or somebody on DSD Thunder would have experienced the same problem and has come up with an answer. So ask the question. You know, it's as simple as that. And there's nothing that can happen to you whilst doing this that can't be resolved just by asking the questions, you know, on either of those two groups. Do you find that DSD is better now than it was back in November 13?
In some ways, yeah. In other ways, I'm not so sure. I don't like, well, you know, I don't like technology. So I don't list with the listing, with the integration listing. I think the more technology that seems to be introduced, the harder it and complicated it gets for me personally. So I just list the old way, the way I learned in the beginning, which I quite enjoy.
You and me should form a club because I do exactly the same. I'm not. I'm being dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st century when it comes to technology. But I have to say that I'm very comfortable doing it the original way of listing and checking items to see if they're out of stock rather than all this automation.
Yeah.
I think from my part, it's more of a lack of trust and confidence in the system that it will actually do what it says, which I'm sure it does, and I'm hearing from other people that it does. And I think for any young person coming in, that all this technology and automation, it must be an absolute breeze for them, you know, because yeah, it's not as time consuming. Although listing for me now is pretty quick, you know, I can do any listing now in 2 to 3 minutes maximum. But quite often I have a day of listing, and all I can see for the rest of the evening and when I go to bed is just listings. I have nightmares about listings. But it's but I think I certainly like the original DSD, and I think DSD2 has brought a lot of technology with it, and I think that that's good for the new people that join. But I'm a bit of a dinosaur, so I tend to stick to the tried and trusted method, you know.
Yeah.
But so where do you see yourself going with DSD? I mean, do you recruit as well, or do you just do the selling?
No, I have a few members that I've recruited. They've been with me over a year, and they're doing fine. I keep saying I will recruit more, but then I think, well, if I have a lot, I can't look after them as well as I look after them now. So you know, it's where do you draw the line, really, for me.
Yeah, I mean, we Sandra and I, we recruit, and we find that, and you'll know this, that when somebody first joins DSD, that is when they need the most support. After about 6 weeks, their need to be in touch with you on a regular basis kind of drops off a bit. Do you find that?
Yes, I do. But I have one or two that actually recruit, and then so if they get stuck on their recruiting questions that they're being asked, then they ask me to step in and help them sort that out. So I'm looking after my own team plus a few of their people that they've recruited.
Yeah.
So it all takes time.
Yeah, it does. It does, and I know that when it'll be the same for you. When I first joined DSD, being an affiliate, as they call it, the attitude within DSD was that you were not a trainer, you were purely the sponsor, and that you recruited them and then you pointed them in the direction of the training, and that was your lot. I have to say I never did that, but I do know of sponsors that did. But the emphasis has changed now, where the affiliates are expected to support their team, which I think is a good thing. I think if you're bringing somebody in, although the argument is, okay, you get £6 a month, but if you're bringing somebody into this, then they do need support. I mean, if they keep asking questions about training issues, then of course you have to point them to the training. But certainly those in the UK will find that the training is still very much American based, although the principles are exactly the same. But I do think that affiliates need to support their team a lot more than they probably did back in when you joined and when I joined a year last February. What do you think?
Yeah, it is a bit of an obstacle for people in the UK. They see something that's been done for America and they automatically think that we should have it. And yeah, maybe we should, but life's life, and you've just got to work with what you've got. And because I started in the beginning when we didn't have all this, it doesn't really affect me in that way, but it's explaining to other people in your group that, you know, everything's okay, just get on with it, just keep listening, keep doing what you're doing. Don't panic. You know, that's all you can really do.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I always, I've always been the same because I've done business support for a lot of years. And I've always just said, I'm there if you need me. And if they need me, they contact me and I help them. And that's it really, you know.
Yeah. Can you see yourself doing DSD in a year's time?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I love it. I love it. My husband thinks I'm crackers, but I enjoy it and I like it.
Anybody that dresses up as a unicorn is not all there, you know. So I'm with your husband on that one.
He just said it's nothing new.
But I think I can see myself doing DSD for years. And somebody from America that we had on a few weeks ago made a very good point, and that was that in the unlikely event in the near future or distant future that DSD as a company folds,
Yeah.
You can still carry on and do this.
That's right.
Because you have been taught now, or being taught new skills. And it means that if DSD was to fold, yes, you'd lose all the automation and technology, but like you and I have said, the basic principles of drop shipping,
that's right,
you can carry on. So I think it's an absolute godsend. I mean, I've said it more than once, but if somebody had said to me 2 years ago that I would be doing this and making a good income, I would have said they're mad. And it's amazed me in a nice way how I've managed to develop new skills to do the drop shipping, because it's certainly alien to me because of the type of background that I had. Never done this type of work in my life, you know. So it was a challenge, but with the support you get and the training you get, it's amazing. And
yeah,
you know,
I like it because, you know, I mean, we're hoping to move back to Spain, and I know that, you know, I can take the job with me because it's on the internet and it's all automatic, and it'll be a new thing that I've got to start selling. Selling Spanish items. That'll be a new learning curve.
Well, you'll have to carry on selling in the UK or America, wherever you're selling now. You know, because I know when we move to Portugal, we'll still be selling in the UK and America. It's because I know. Go on. Sorry.
I will still sell in the UK and a little bit in America, but in Spain there's a lot of British community who are not happy with .com, you know, and they don't like UK, so maybe we can coax them onto the Spanish site and get some trade from them, you know.
Yeah. We're getting a lot of people interested in DSD from Portugal. Now I know that people will say, because that's because you keep banging on about going to Portugal. But we seem to be getting an awful lot of British people and local Portuguese people interested in DSD, and with the expats out in Spain as well, you know, and money being tight these days, I'd imagine that there's just as many out there as well, you know.
Yeah, I think mainly because of the downturn in the economy in them countries, you know, they're still trying to climb out of it. And I know when we lived in Spain before, we was getting £1 per euro, so our money, you know, drastically reduced. And there'll be a lot of people in the same situation, you know, so they'll be looking for things to do. They don't want to go and get a job. Well, it's hard to get a job in a foreign country if you don't speak their language. So, you know, and then you start a proper business or a bricks and mortar business, sorry.
Yeah.
And so this is quite a good opportunity for them, really.
The other thing I was going to ask you is that sometimes we put this Hangout on a public site so that people can see it. Like I've got a YouTube channel that all these Hangouts go onto, so basically the public can see it, which is why we do not make this a training video, because that would be counterproductive. But for anybody that's not in DSD, who's looking at it and thinking, yeah, right, you know, this is too good to be true, what would you say to them?
Really, for a start, I would say, well, try it before you actually say that, you know, it's a scam or anything like that. And for the price that you have to pay, you've nothing to lose. If they don't like it, there's no contract. You can get straight out of it. There's no hassle. There's no pressure. No, make them make the choice themselves. If people say, oh, it's a scam and all that, I don't argue with them. I just say, yeah, okay, if that's what you think, that's what you believe. If you go onto YouTube and put SFI scam, and if you put any opportunity and then scam after it, you'll come up with pages and pages of people saying it's a scam.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, it's the same for DSD. So I'd say, well, try it. Come into the group, have a look around, see if you like it. If you like it, join. If you don't, no hassle.
I remember when I first started doing the recruiting, you hit the nail on the head just now when you said that you don't get involved in long drawn out conversations with people that say it's a scam. I must admit that at the very beginning of recruiting, I did. I don't know why, because I never won, because these people had preconceived ideas. And I read a comment from Roger Langill, excuse me, last week. I don't know whether you saw it, but I mean, for those of you that don't know, Roger Langill is the one that created DSD. And he came on to a post where somebody was trying to encourage somebody else to join DSD. And he came out with a comment and said, basically, if you have to encourage somebody to part with $20, then you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
And I thought, how true. You know,
Yeah.
if you can't part with $20, £12.50, whatever, was it 18 euros, whatever it is, if you can't part with that to see if it works, then, you know, there's no point in you or me or any other recruiter wasting time in trying to persuade them. And I thought it's a very good point, you know, because in the past Sandra and I have wasted an awful lot of time trying to convince people that it's not a scam, you know, that you can earn loads of money. Now we just present the facts. And because we've been dragged into the 21st century, we have a link now to various videos and emails that get sent to them. So we don't actually have much contact with them. And once they what's the word, to sign up to this process of receiving emails, which in some ways is good, but I do prefer the personal touch. But it does take an awful lot of your time. So we decided that we would go to this automation part of recruiting, and I have to say the number of hits, if that's the right word, you know, get me. If the number of hits that we're getting and the number of inquiries far exceeded what we would have done if we manually tried to speak to somebody. So that, you know, whether that turns into actual recruits remains to be seen. But so far, you know, we've been doing it for about 2 weeks. So far, the early signs are good. So, you know, we shall see.
I think when people recruit as well, a lot of them, when they get a no, they take it as personal. You know, they take every objection as take it personally. And if you're recruiting, you can't do that.
No.
And I think getting it automated will make that part better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're not there taking it personally, and then when they start slagging things off, you're not there to discuss it. So that's better. But I still like to.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, I with me being old-fashioned, I still like I prefer the personal, talking to people, chatting to people about things.
Sandra's a bit disappointed that we've gone to automation, because she used to get probably once a week a proposal from somebody in some far distant land.
Yeah.
And she's quite disappointed that she doesn't get that now. So I have to say that I never ever got a proposal. So I felt a bit left out. But yeah, she was often being described as beautiful, and I want to marry you, and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, can you send me a passport?
That's right, yeah. So, right, let me just talk to you, the rest of the team, about a couple of other things. First of all, there is no DSD Thunder Hangout next week. We're going to switch to fortnightly, it's not cast in stone. So if there's something that we need to talk about next week, then I'll publicize it. But the next one is the 17th. We also are doing, no date yet, but we're also doing a joint hangout with freedom fighters. I floated the idea with freedom fighters last week, and huge success, and everybody wants to come on board. So we've just got to agree a day and a time. I suspect it will be October, but it could be this month. And it'll also be evening, so it caters for us in the UK and also them in America. But that'll be good. It's a one-off event at the moment, so whether it becomes a regular thing depends on how successful the first one was. We've also got, I think I mentioned it last time, but we've also got Skip Foster coming on the 24th, 23rd of September. I don't know why I'm looking that way. But for those of you who don't know Skip, he's part of the Freedom Fighters, and he does a Friday Freedom Fighters Hangout or something like that. I can't remember now. Absolutely hilarious, but he always puts across a very, very good message, and it'll be good to have him on. And there'll be other guests coming on. Rosalie doesn't know it yet, but she'll be coming back, dressed as a unicorn this time. But that's about it from me. What I do want to say is that for those of you that haven't seen Stephen Fine's comment from yesterday about the comments he was getting from customers, please look back at his comment. Absolutely hilarious, especially the request to return a 10-piece pan set because he sent them a Breville 10-piece pan set. The beauty of this job is the public. Occasionally you can get a right pain in the backside, and then you get all the funny stories as well. So thanks, Chris, for sharing that with us. And if you have any, the rest of you, if you have any funny stories, please put them on Thunder, because it just lightens up the group itself. I'd like to thank Rosalie for coming all the way from sunny Hull. We've had people from Colorado, Lanzarote, various other parts of the world, and now we've got Hull. So we've done it all now. So have you enjoyed yourself, Rosalie?
Yes, I have, thank you.
Good.
I was a bit nervous, but it's been all right.
I think you've done tremendously well. And am I as scary as people say?
Nah, not really.
That's all right then. All right. I won't be around much this weekend. It's my wedding anniversary on Saturday. We're going out for a very nice meal, and no doubt Sunday will be in a dark corner with some shades on. So don't try and contact me over the weekend, because I doubt if you're going to get a sensible response, although some would say no change there. But have a good weekend, have some good sales, and see you in 2 weeks' time, unless there's a need to do Hangout next week. Take care.